get ready, there's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board.
Another edition of the Labor Agenda TV talk show. I'll be your host, Rick Thompson, for the next 30 minutes because I want to play a video on the end. But what we're going to talk about today is what's going on within the city of Memphis. And with the election being so important, the Memphis city election is so important that we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to tell you why the election is so very important. This Memphis city election, number one, is October 3rd, 2019. Early voting began September 13th, 2019. This election is so very important for a number of reasons. Number one, the person who get elected to the mayor's office and the persons who get elected to the Memphis City Council will control all the wealth that are getting ready to come into this city. All the wealth that is getting ready to come into this city. Therefore, we have no choice but to get interested in this election, because we cannot continue to let other communities continue to benefit off of our lack of knowledge. You know, as Miss Crenshaw always told me, she said, Rick, no, she said, Mr. Thompson. She said, Mr. Thompson, if you're waiting on a white horse, somebody to ride in on a white horse and save you in the black community, you'll be waiting until the law can get back, till the good Lord get back. She said, it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to come into your community and save your community. We've been waiting on it for, at that time, you know, Dr. King had been dead for about 25 years, I think, when we had this conversation, or close to 25 years. And what she said was, she said, look, Rick, Mr. Thompson, she said, Dr. King been dead 25 years, and we've been waiting on somebody to come into our community to save us, and it have not happened, and it will not happen. So let me just tell you this. Dr. King been dead 50 years now, and we still waiting on somebody to come into our community to save us, and it's not going to happen. The reason it's not going to happen because people are going to take care of their own communities. If you look anywhere in the world, not just this country, but if you look anywhere in this world, you will see that nobody depends on other people to come into their community and save them, because they understand that nobody can solve the problem of their community for them but them. And what we got to do in the black community, we got to understand that nobody's going to solve our problem for us but us. And we got to do it in spite of racism. We can no longer let racism be a crutch or an excuse for us not taking care of our communities. We can no longer let it be a crutch. We got to take care of our community, and we got to do it at all costs. And we got to do it for the sake of our children and their children, and their children unborn. Because if we don't do it, it ain't gonna get done. We cannot continue to pass all the problems that we are having on to our children. We cannot continue to pass all the problems that we are having on to our grandchildren. We got to stand up like men and women, like mothers and fathers, and take care of this problem. And we got to do it in spite of racism. You know, it amazes me how you got all these preachers that are letting these politicians come into their church, lie to you. You vote for them, they get elected, and nothing changed. Nothing changed. We have to stop it. And we need to stop it in this election. It needs to be stopped in this election. We cannot continue to expect or to do the same thing and expect different results. We cannot do it. And what we got to do, we got to look at the black community. We got to look at the black leaders in the black community. And we got to hold these people accountable. We cannot continue to let the black leaders use us for our votes. And then once they get elected, nothing changes in our community. The only people benefit is them. We can't continue to let that happen. That's why the Memphis city election that's coming up is going to be the most important election of my lifetime and many of yours lifetimes, because we have so much money is getting ready to come into Shelby County, into Memphis and Shelby County. This is why there's a big push out there to make sure certain people don't get elected. What we got to do is we got to look at these candidates. We got to look at these candidates. And we got to look at how they lie to us. And we got to make sure they don't get elected. So when your preacher start letting these politicians come into their church and make a speech to you, because they love making speeches. When they ready to make these speeches to you, the hard questions need to be asked. First, you need to ask your preacher, your pastor, why are you even letting them up in this church? We haven't seen them for the last 3.5 years. In our city, according to the survey that just been done, that this the worst one of the worst ran cities in the country. One of the worst ran city in the country. If you notice, nobody want to talk about that. If you go to any other city, say 100 miles from here, or 1,000 miles from here, their news media is broadcasting on the media, on the news, that Memphis, stay away from Memphis, because Memphis is one of the worst cities you can go to. But if you notice, the closer you get to Memphis, and the closer you get into Shelby County, this news media around here been told, don't broadcast that. Don't tell the truth until after the election. Because if you talk about how bad Memphis is being run, then that may hurt Jim Strickland. That's what the news media is telling, is being told. They want a complete blackout on crime and how the city is being run. They want a complete blackout and hope that you don't paying attention to what's being done, what they're doing, and what they're not doing. They're hoping that they can get past this election before the communities around here, the people of the city of Memphis, recognize that this city is in bad shape. What's going on is terrible. They're hoping that you don't pay attention. They're hoping that they can get past this election. So what I will tell you is, make sure you go out and register. What you need to do immediately, you need to register to vote. You need to register to vote for the upcoming election. And you need to do it today. Now, registering to vote is an easy thing to do. You can go online and register to vote. You don't even have to go down there no more. You can go online and do it. That's how easy it is to register to vote now. And I would urge you to go register to vote. Number one. Number two, you need to make sure that your children is registered to vote. In fact, what you need to do, I would say, you need to make it a requirement that if your children is over the age of 18, that they register to vote to live in your house. That need to be a requirement. That if they're going to stay in your house, they got to register to vote. Because what's getting ready to happen in Memphis, and what's continuing to happen in Memphis, we need to have the right politician in office. Because a lot of money is getting ready to come to Shelby County. A lot of money getting ready to come to Memphis. And depends on how that money is distributed, will depend on who's in the mayor's seat and who's in the Memphis City Council seat. If we miss that money, if we don't get out and vote, and the wrong people get into office, I can tell you right now, that this generational wealth that's getting ready to be made in Memphis through contracts, through revitalization, through good jobs. If we don't have the right politician in office, the black community will continue to be messed over. The question got to be asked. The question got to be asked, why is it that the black community is the only community that haven't made any real progress? And I'll tell you, because we've been taken for granted by these politicians, black and white, and we can no longer allow these politicians to take our community for granted. So that's why what we got to start doing and understand that nobody's going to ride in on a white horse into the black community and save us. We got to do it ourselves. It's just not going to happen. Nobody's going to solve the problem of the black community for us but us. And we got to do it in spite of racism. It's just simple as that. We got to do it in spite of racism. That's why we got to do it for the sake of our children and their children and our children unborn. We got to do it. Oh man, we gotta go break. We'll be and with that, we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Houston, and I am a fair share giver to the IBEW Johnny Dawson Charitable Foundation, and you can become a giver as well by visiting our website at www.johnnydawsonfoundation.org.
A blanket and Valentine's Day.
Hey, my name is Marco Sanchez. I'm a first share giver to the IBEW Johnny Dawson Charity Foundation.
My name is Glenda Hicks, and I am a fair share giver to the IBEW Johnny Dawson Charitable Foundation.
Hi, my name is Tommy Polian. I'm a full fair share giver to the IBEW Charitable Foundation. Giving back is everybody's responsibility in the community.
Hi, I'm Bill Hawkins, and I'm an above fair share giver to the IBEW Johnny Dawson Charitable Foundation.
Helping the community is everybody's responsibility.
Okay, welcome back. This election, before we went to break, I spent the whole time on voting because it is so very important that we get out and vote. It's just that important, because if we miss this time, if we mess around and miss this time and don't put the right politician in office, the black community is pretty much going to be self-destruct. They're going to be almost destroyed, because every other community is getting prepared for this money getting ready to come. That's coming in here, except for the black community. And if you look at what's going on in this community, for an example, look at crime in this community. Crime is worse today than it's been in the history of Memphis. There have never been another time in Memphis where crime has been this bad. Now the current mayor ran on that he was going to be a law and order mayor. But under his leadership, crime is worse than it's ever been. Why not? If crime is worse than it's ever been in the history of Memphis, you can never go back and point to another time since Memphis has been a city where crime has been this bad. And if you notice, nobody want to talk about it. The news media have been instructed, do not talk about the crime, because it'll make Strickland look bad. They don't care that black people is getting killed. They just don't want to make Strickland look bad. Now, I mean, in your community, in my community, crime is off the chain. I was listening to a radio show the other day, and I was listening to I think it was AM 600 when Ben Ferguson comes on, and he was talking about crime. You know what he was telling the white folks to do? He said crime so bad in Memphis, he instructed all his listeners, call the Memphis City Council and call the mayor and tell them about that, how dissatisfied that you are with this crime. They're taking direct action in the white community. Ben Ferguson even said that Jim Strickland calls a press conference when you had the two white folk that got killed, that got influenced. But when all these black folks getting killed, you don't hear him even talk about it at all. That's coming from a white man. He said when when those blacks jumped on that white guy over there on Highland at that Kroger's, Jim Strickland was on the council, he had a fit. He said, but when all this stuff happening over in the black community, he ain't saying nothing. That's coming from a white man. So this is why this election is so important. I got to conclude that either Jim Strickland don't know how to stop the crime, or he don't give a damn about the crime that's going on in the black community, with black folks getting killed, robbed, black folks getting robbed, black folks getting raped, black folks, either he don't know how to stop it, or deal with it, or he don't give a damn. That's what I got to conclude. But one thing I do know, when any crime went on in the white community, Jim Strickland took care of the problem. And he did it quick. When those blacks jumped on that white guy, that Kroger's at Poplar and Highland, in Jim Strickland's district, he was Smith City Council, and Jim Strickland jumped on that problem immediately and got it stopped, and it haven't happened again. It have not happened again because Jim Strickland knew how to take care of the problem when the problem went to the white community. But when problems are happening in the black community, he totally oblivious about it. It's terrible. Crime, if you got a mayor and a city council that cannot control this crime, they don't need to be in office. Just simple as that. I don't care whether they're black or white. They don't need to be in this office. Period. They do not need to be there. And we can change all that on October the 3rd by putting somebody in office that can take care of that problem. We need to get away from all this emotion and start looking at who can solve our problem and put them in office and get people out of office that cannot solve our problem. We got to get away from listening to what some of these crooked preachers that already took the money under the table. We got to get away from that. We got to let them preach a sermon about the kingdom of heaven, but when it comes down to what's going on earth for the election, there needs to be a separation of church and state. If you notice, these preachers, these politicians runs up in the black community, up in the black churches, but no preacher is allowed to go into the white churches. No preacher is allowed to go into the Spanish churches. No preacher is allowed to go into any other race of people churches but the black community. And if you notice, the black community is the only community that is getting screwed. But anyway, I can talk about that, go on. Also, let me just say, our Austin Stewart meeting was on July the 11th, and we, the Johnny Dawson Charitable Foundation, gave out $70,000 to other 501c3 organizations. This is what the Johnny Dawson Charitable Foundation do best, helping this community. We help this community. You know, we sent emails and all that out trying to notify the news media that we was giving out $70,000 to other organizations, but they didn't show up. We already knew that because we being a union, they do not want to talk about the good things the union is doing. Now you got other organizations give out $200 or $300, and the news media is over there running a lead story. That's the lead story for the week, for the day. They gave out $300 to help this group. We gave out $70,000, and it's not newsworthy for the major news stations. But that's fine. That's why we got our own media, TV and radio. We on the radio every Saturday on AM 990 from 3 to 5. Every Saturday. So tune in, listen to what we said. We have our Austin stewards done because our officers and our stewards work so hard for IBEW Local 1288 Union. And we try to give them a dinner twice a year so we can show our appreciation for the hard work that they do for IBEW Local 1288. They don't get any salary. A steward have to do their own job, and so do our officers. They do their regular job, excuse me, and then they also work for the union. All this free. So we try to get them a dinner to show our appreciation to our officers. And I want to personally thank the officers of IBEW Local 1288 and the stewards of IBEW Local 1288 Union for the hard work that they do on a daily basis. It's hard being a steward. I mean, I understand that. Because, you know, some stewards, you know, you have to be employees, big brother, big sisters, they're a preacher, they're a teacher, they're a lawyer. You have to be everything to everybody. And I know it's a hard job. I used to be a union steward. I had to go through the same thing. And you're right there on the scene with the employees. So, again, I want to just take this time to say I appreciate the hard work that y'all do for IBEW Local 1288, because on stewards are appointed by the business manager. And I do appreciate you all. I really do appreciate y'all, the hard work that you do. Also, coming up, school starting back in August, we're going to have the backpack giveaway. You know, we give away backpacks that are full of all the supplies, but you got to call the union hall and get on the list and put your children's name on the list to get the backpacks. So you can call us at 363-1563. 363-1563. We're going to give away the IBEW backpack giveaway. But put your name on the list. Also, you know, a lot of people call the union hall because they're having problems with smart meters. People call me and say, people coming up to my yard trying to put smart meters on, I'm running them off. I said, well, what you need to do is you need to do it the legal way. You need to call MLGW and tell them to send you that opt-out paper so you can fill out the opt-out letter and mail it back in to them, and then those people won't come to your house till I put a smart meter on your house. Just do it the legal way. If you don't want a smart meter on your house, call MLGW and tell them to send you those papers. Or you can stop by a community office and get the papers there. They have to give them to you right then. You can fill them out right then. But because you do not have to have a smart meter on your house. They telling you, well, at some point you're going to have to get it. Well, you got to wait till that some point. That's what you need to tell them. They tell you, you know, some point you're going to have to get this smart meter. Well, wait till that at some point. At some point could be in 30 years from now. You won't even be living. Maybe. At some point could be in 50 years from now. If you don't want the smart meter on your house, fill the paper out, send it back in, and tell them when they tell you you have to get it at some point. You tell them, well, I'll wait to that point. So, you know, we get a lot of calls from the ratepayers, because being a ratepayer, that means you the boss of the employees and the people who run like gas and water. You own MLGW. So you should be treated as such, like you the owners. So, you know, all these calls being down to the union hall. All you got to do about smart meters, all you got to do is call MLGW and tell them to send you some opt-out papers because you don't want smart meters. Or you can stop by MLGW community office and get some opt-out papers, and you don't have to have smart meters. You know, just remember the black community. that nobody can solve the problem of the black community for us, but us. And we got to do it in spite of racism. Also, I'm getting very close to getting this museum for Cornelia Crenshaw. This museum we're very close to getting this museum for Miss Cornelia Crenshaw. Also, when you get ready to vote for these politicians, they come around to your church, ask them why won't they name Van Street Cornelia Crenshaw Boulevard. Put them on the spot. Tell them you want Van Street renamed to Cornelia Crenshaw, and we don't want it to be no honorary street. We want the street name changed to Cornelia Crenshaw Boulevard. So we're getting very close to this museum. I think we're gonna have it pretty soon. We got to move away from Vans, but we're getting very close. Man, look like time done ran out on me. Don't y'all leave this down, because there's a film coming about our food giveaway. As soon as this over with, we're going straight into the IBEW food giveaway. So until next week, my name is Rick Thompson, and I'll talk to you again on the Labor Agenda TV talk show on Tamara Production Network.
Okay, we can be on the car. I'll tell you walking around this way. Okay. Okay, yeah. Time clock was
Let's just put 9 o'clock on that outside table. I know that's a lot.
okay, good. There you go.
Allow your car. Okay. Your name?
Craig Littles.
Craig Little. And you're running for
Memphis City Council, Super District 8-2.
the District 8 position 2.
Yes, sir.
And you out here with us today, IBEW Local 1288. You out here. First, let me just say, it looked like you're no stranger to public service.
I am not. I've been serving all my life.
And, you know, we just certainly appreciate you coming over, helping us put the box of the food together for the seniors.
Yes.
And, I mean, is this something that once you become a city council person, is this something you're going to do all the time?
It is. This is what I've been doing. I'm a grassroots worker. I'm from Memphis. I grew up in the district, and I love serving. I love giving back, and what IBEW is doing for the community and seniors is much needed. And I want to continue to service and help this process.
So, what would you like to say to our listening audience?
Well, I'd like to say, if you can donate, if you can be a part of this wonderful venture that IBEW is doing for the community and seniors, come on aboard. I'm sure you can get the contact information to help us out any way you can. Whether you donate, or you provide services, or you volunteer your time, it's much needed in now.
Well, let me ask one more thing. What made you decide that you should run for Memphis City Council?
Well, you know, I've been serving all my life. I truly believe in Memphis and its citizens, and I truly believe that Memphis can win. I think that for so long, some of our groups have been overlooked. Resources have not been getting to where they need to be gotten to, and I think I can connect those resources back to our community that need it so much.
Super District 8 consists of one half of the city, right?
It does 500,000 residents.
500,000 residents, one half of the city.
Yes, sir.
And so you would ask that the support of the community.
Yes, I would. 500,000 residents. We go from Raleigh, North Memphis, downtown, Hickory Hill, Orange Mound, the medical district, Cooper Young, and 500,000 residents can definitely make a difference. Come out and vote October 3rd. Your voice is your vote, and we really need it now.
And just remember, September 13th is early voting. Yes. It's good. It would be good if you come out and early vote so that if something happened on October 3rd, and it rain or it snow or whatever it does, you would already be unvoted. So please, if you're not registered to vote, get registered today, and so you can vote in the September election.
Definitely.
All right, let's get back to work.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart.
I don't have enough five boxes. How many people?
Yeah, come on, I got some.
Do you do this every year? How many do you do these?
Before you're a holiday. Come on, this side. So I can pull on one side, you can pull the other side.
On the bell pepper? You can see it. You can see like the top of it. Starts right here. And then come on. No, I just got the letter.
We're gonna start putting two in there. We run out, we just go back and keep one out. Okay. Put two in, we run out, we just have to go get one. I got out here.
Oh, in the box. Okay.
Right around the way. Get on the road again. Good morning.
I'm starting here. So y'all ready? Let's move on to the next box that you already. Yeah, to the radio. I listen to the radio. Yeah. And what is it? They y'all waiting on? Before y'all doing this? I thought you think I listened to. I heard people saying like people in the department. That was something one that he was doing, like giving an update on how things are going. I thought that was smart. I am. But my Once we call your name, you can step over to the side. Okay, we got to check
I'm on it. Come on, man. What's your name?
Marion.
Yes. That's me.
Step over to the side right there.
Right over to the side.
Step to the left. I'm Marion. Check out. James Worley's. Stand over to your left right there. Okay, come on up. Y'all come on in. All right. Come right over here.
See James Worley.
W-I-L-E-S.
Joseph Dilworth.
You don't see it?
Yeah, it should be on.
Joseph Dilworth. Stand to your left.
Oh, it should have been on here.
Juanito Gary. Juanito Gary.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Bridges. Eddie Bridges. Bridges.
Frankie Payne. Okay. Come back over this way. Come back over a little bit more. They look for your best.
What's your name? Frankie Payne.
They gonna get it. Right. I just got oh, you saying Bridges board?
Yeah, I got my left. Well, give her your left.
Hey.
What's the last name?
Isabel.
Cheryl Tuttle.
Frankie Payne. Mary Boyd. Mary Boyd. They're gonna get you right there. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Good.
Okay, then don't you go nowhere, okay?
I'm Mary Boyd.
How y'all doing? Come out.
Take care of me. Hey, Shirley Tuttle.
No person. Baby, I'll be right back.
It's gonna be on this time.
Shirley Tuttle.
Jacqueline Ingram.
Here I am.
Yes, ma'am.
No, just stand over there, ma'am. They're gonna get you.
Jacqueline Ingram. Right here. Right here.
Frankie Payne.
Betty Patrick. Just stand over to your left. Back over here. Raise them how to get out.
Hey, sweetheart. Hey, don't miss a little
I got some work to do. Hey, work, that's what I'm looking for. I've been working all my life.
Betty Patrick. What you got there? Was it Frankie time? Yes, ma'am. It's it. Let me get it. I'm passing. Okay. Gracie Bowie and Kelsey Hastings. Margaret Settles. Margaret Settles. She's picking up from Miss Settles. And Patricia Wilson. Patricia picking up from Margaret. I have Margaret Settles.
And Patricia Wilson. Patricia Wilson.
All right, itty bitty, I got it.
Neil, are you on there? Yes.
Just give Gracie, just give him your name right
Bowie? All right, yeah.
Grace Bowie? Which one? No, Patricia Wilson.
This is for
Man,
I need her. I need
your letter and ID.
I done showed you the ID. Remember she gave you too much. You give what she gave me.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long
The evils men do is on the rise. The world has become so selfish and self-centered to a certain degree. Married couples cheat. Fraud perpetrators stay hidden. Bad things happen daily, yet the culprits get away with it. Human trafficking rates on the rise, and children being abducted and gone missing without a trace, and so much hurt just goes around. Honeybee Detective Agency is out to change all that. We do this because we care about you. We have a reputation within the industry with our 99% case success rate. There isn't a situation too difficult for us to decipher. We help solve cold cases, determine if your partner is cheating on you, run background checks on your would-be partner or employee, catch telephone fraud individuals, help find missing persons, help to exonerate the wrongly convicted, locate witnesses for court cases, and deadbeat dads for child support cases. We do child custody investigations on your behalf to ensure that your children are safe, with evidence that can help to establish the truth about your child's welfare and safety in the courtroom. We do not drag on cases unnecessarily just to increase hourly fees, as is with some others. We are reliable and trusted as we work hard to achieve tangible results in the shortest possible time. Honeybee Detective Agency. Call us today at 901-268-7319. We sting 'em with the truth.